if you've suffered an accident and it's somebody else's fault, you're likely to want to claim compensation.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
You can firstly, before the compensation, you can you can complain about the other party at the police. Yeah, when you are giving the statement, they will be asking you whether are you complaining or not, and you can be firstly complain at the police station, and afterwards, when your damage is like obvious, I mean, if when you find out what sort of like a damages or losses that you are facing with, you can then file a civil. You can file a compensation case at the civil courts.
So, for example, if you break your leg and you can't work for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have a separate video about civil proceedings and how they work. But basically, to file in the civil courts, your lawyer will put in a statement of claim.
Correct.
The other party will have some time to reply to that.
Correct.
And then the judge will decide what extra information, what extra evidence is required.
Correct.
And take control of the case from there.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think we have to be aware that if you're going to go to the civil court, it could take 2, maybe even 3 years to get there.
Depends on the complexity of the case. Yeah.
Yes. Now, how does the court decide how much compensation someone would be entitled to?
Actually, it is not the judge is making the decision by himself or herself. They are usually assigning an expert, and the expert is looking the what damage you had and what this damage will be causing you in your future life. I mean, if the injury that you have is not not allowing you to work for the rest of your life, so your income of your rest of your life will be considered as a damage. So basically, the expertise are going through your income. First of all, if there is any loss on your income due to accidents, that will be a part of the compensation. And on the other hand, if you had a body injury which caused you huge a medical treatment invoices, then it is going to be considered. Obviously, there's another section which is not really paid really well in Turkey, but if you had mentally affected from the accident, yes, you will get some compensation for your suffer.
Let's go back to the income part. So this sounds like a very mathematical calculation.
Yeah, it is.
You are, no, you're not personally, but in this example, you're 45 years old.
Yeah.
You would be working for another 15 years. You earn 10,000 lira a month, so you've lost 12 times 10,000 lira every year, 15 years. That is however many million lira that you have lost.
But obviously, you will be retired due to your injury.
Yes.
So you will get an income from it. So
exactly.
it's going to be.
And so from that, you deduct the social security payments you would receive. So it's a very mathematical way of working out your.
Very technical way of
yes,
a calculation. So and you will see what the expert it takes, what the expert take out. So it's going to be all detailed in the report.
And in your case, they would say, well, you are a young lawyer, you are likely to earn more money as the year goes by, so they would take that into account as well. So it's
exactly.
A very comprehensive view.
Comprehensive, and obviously we need to just tell us to recover all these losses from the other party has to be 100% in failure.
Yes, can I come back to that later?
Yeah, sure.
So you've got the financial losses you've suffered, and then included in that is not just the loss of earnings. You know, your car was destroyed, that is 50,000 lira. Other direct losses, your medical treatment's going to cost you this amount. So altogether, you get a financial package of money that you've lost. Now, in addition to that, you might have things that you can't really measure in money terms. For example, you could be scarred. You know, you could end up as a young girl with a scar down your face.
This is basically more about the criminal thing, because in the criminal case, a scar has impact. Basically, the sentence will be more if you have a scar.
In the criminal side, there'll be more damage, therefore you get more.
Exactly.
More
in the criminal side, it's like that. And obviously, in the litigation side, if you have a scar, it is going to be affecting you mentally. So this is going to be.
So that's where that would come. That would come in the mental
exactly,
side.
mental side.
It is the damages of that kind are not assessed separately. It's part of the mental pain and suffering that you have had to put up with.
Normally, we lodge 2 cases in one claim. I mean the losses which could be paid by measured by like a techniques, and the losses that you are having like a mentally.
Yes.
So the expertise will be doing that separately, but in one report.
Okay. And what happens if, for example, the evidence is that someone's life has been shortened? This man would have lived to 70, but because of the accident, he might only live to 55. How does the court take that into account?
This is going to be the future loss. I mean, considered as the loss has not is not like incurred yet, but it is very likely to be incurring. So we have a special type of loss for that specific things. For example, it is basically the same logic. If you're a lawyer, if you are at 30 years old, so they would assume that you will earn more when you're at 40. So it is basically the same system.
Okay.
So if the expertise will think that this has a effect, like impact on your earnings and stuff, then they will calculate that into the compensation.
And finally, you've mentioned the psychological damage.
Yeah.
Some others might call it pain and suffering damage.
Yeah.
You say that isn't very big in Turkey.
No.
People, I mean, in some countries, of course, that can be a large amount of money.
Yeah.
In what circumstances does the court consider psychological damage?
Imagine like a young girl who had a real big scar on her face, which she's not married yet, and maybe she was like planning to be some in a profession that she will be using her face or something. Basically, you need to just have a ground of about the mental disease, the loss. Yeah.
And I know it's incredibly difficult to put figures on these things, but just so that the viewers can get some idea of the amounts we're talking about, if you were a girl of, say, 25 who had a scar on her face, what sort of amount of compensation would you be looking at for that?
This is a very difficult question, but what I could do is actually I could just compare this with the very popular country about this sort of compensation, like is United States,
Yes.
for example. You would be expecting maybe millions of dollars or hundreds thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
But in our case, we would be speaking, I think, tens of thousands of Turkish lira, maybe.
Okay, so you could be talking about, say, $5,000, $10,000, but
Maybe, yeah.
but probably not even that much.
Yeah, because the judge should be really using the initiative and make a different decision than the others. Yeah.
So really then, in Turkey, dealing with an accident is all about the financial compensation for the loss of your future earnings more than anything else.
Yeah.
Okay.